Hi everybody, Dan Schinder here on Drum Talk TV with Mr. Billy Cobham. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here at Tama's 40th year anniversary party is basically what it is.
It's, never thought, well, you're not thinking about things like this 40 years ago? Good Lord. But here we are.
Went by quick, a lot of innovation, starting with the hardware.
Yeah, it has, and even more so, the fact is, I don't know much about it because I haven't been here in about 30 years with Tama. So it's nice to come back and take a look and see what's going on with all the Babinga stuff and all of that. Good Lord. Things have changed a lot, yeah.
What do you think is the biggest innovation in Tama in those 40 years?
That's a great question, man. I think the hardware turns out to be a lot lighter, but yet as strong as other companies. It's more streamlined. They have little subtle things that are just different. So the personality has grown. I think, and interestingly enough, I think they're more the rock and roll drummers' choice generally than other companies. There are so many people when I see who they're working with who are not jazz players or even fusion players very much, right. And I go, get out of here, really. It's a whole other thing. It's a younger crew, so it's nice to see that.
Well, the brand seems to have really transcended different genres of music throughout the career of the brand. On a totally different topic, going to music, when you think back to everything that you did in Mahavishnu Orchestra, and you give it the context of the time period of when you did it,
yes.
How do you feel about the music when you look back at it now, understanding, and I'm asking you as a fan that thinks this way, of the time period that amazing music was created. I mean, it was ahead of its time then, and when I hear it, it's ahead of its time now. Being the artist that was involved in it, what's your perspective on that?
I think it was necessary. We hit a point. We lost Janis Joplin, we lost Hendrix, we lost a few other people. I can't remember the names, but those two especially, they left a void. McLaughlin filled the Hendrix void for a short period, but he did it with a group of guys who were his equal musically on their own instruments. We were lucky to work together. It was a short shot in the dark, 2.5 years of like nonstop, intensity. 500 or 600 concerts later.
Yeah, that left a huge footprint on not just the industry,
and
but
it's
the
lasting.
World.
You see, so a lot of things came out of that. Like a bass player, young bass player who was playing much more complex lines on an instrument that could not really accommodate him at the time, but the whole bass industry had to learn how to deal with those individuals who were coming after Stanley Clarke.
Right. The instruments had to be made for people's talents and abilities and creativity.
Olympic and all of this started to come to line. And so there's a lot of stuff. The drum heads had to change. Remo started looking at things more multidimensionally, as opposed to an ambassador and an emperor, and you had all this kind of stuff happening. People started looking at different types of woods to build just the backs for guitars. I mean, everything just started to open up, and imaginations started to really evolve in multiple directions.
Because of the evolution of music kind of drove the manufacturers to be more creative.
Yes, because what the musicians were looking for, they could not get. So, of course, they're saying, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. Sometimes not verbally, but just physically, body language, whatever it took, boom, they got it, Took a little while, but we got it.
And speaking of that, you were certainly I think, the impetus in the beginning of using the huge drum kit.
Well, to a degree.
I had my it became popular in the pop and market more.
Right.
But I'll never turn a back on my mentors, and that's Louis Belson at Shaughnessy. These guys were there a long time ago, and they're not to be denied, Rufus Jones, all these cats, man, and I'm missing somebody. And so it's just like, it just goes on like this, It's all been done before, I was just lucky enough to have a following, and the timing was right for me to be able to bring this configuration to the forefront.
Right. And they did what they did on their kits, wearing suits and ties, which is just I've tried it. I can't do it.
It's crazy.
That's why you live now.
That's right. and in the now. Now,
in a way, yeah.
Now, going back to the big kits, Billy, I get a lot of comments on the Drum Talk TV Facebook page when we post artists that have big kits, and some guys just short circuit and freak out and post things like, it's way too much, it's overkill. And I mean, how do you explain to someone other than what I usually come back with? I say, would you ever criticize an orchestra for having too many strings, or a choir for too many voices, or a piano for too many keys? There's simply different tones and textures and everything. What's your answer to that and your perspective? And I respect that everybody's into something different, but I just don't understand the criticism of something like that.
The people who are criticizing are generally ignorant of why one would have a set like that and play it. They don't know, and as in anything else, when you're ignorant of something, the chances are you're going to be afraid of it because you don't know what it is or how to use it, so you turn against it,
It's a defense mechanism.
It's a defense mechanism, yeah, because they don't know what to do with it. So obviously it doesn't work in their purview, in their social community, for them.
Right.
And that's what they're saying fundamentally. When they hear somebody else do something like that, then it's like, well, that's not possible. Am I going to believe what I heard or my lying eyes?
Right.
It's like it's all in the mind.
Yeah.
And they just don't want to move from their comfort zone.
Right.
And that's fundamentally where that's at. You just go. I mean, I've had people criticize me and say for that kind of stuff, and when someone comes to me and say, well, what do you think about so and so and what they said about you? I said, man, at least they're talking about me.
Yeah.
So as long as they talk about me, it's fine, because that means you guys will print it, which gives me every reason to continue to do what I'm doing, because obviously I'm getting to somebody.
Amen. Yeah. And getting to somebody, what are you doing to get to people now? What do you have going on?
Well, at the moment, I have a release coming called Tales from the Skeleton Coast, and it's based around my experiences in southwestern Africa, in an area just north, or I should say just south of the border of Angola.
Okay.
And it's called the Skeleton Coast. Mm-hmm. It's now much more accessible than it was before. And when I was there, I have a daughter who was a teacher in Namibia, which is the country that is no longer called Southwestern Africa. And she was teaching there, and I had a chance to visit that region and visit Botswana and Etosha Pan and places like this. And I mulled over this. This happened in 1994. And all of the material kept coming, but slowly, and finally, plop, we all have it together, and I recorded it. It took me, recording didn't take very long, maybe cumulatively 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but the mixing took a long, long time, over a year of fixing little bits and pieces. This is something we can do now as artists.
Right.
We are the chief cooks and bottle washers, Indian chiefs, everything all in one. And so we can decide, because nobody else is doing it, never did anyway when they said they were, what to do with our product. And in the process, I mean, we have it now. Tales from the Skeleton Coast will be released on, of course, my label, Creative Multimedia Concepts, at the end of this month.
Oh, great. And this is January 2014, so look for that everywhere. And how, in what ways did that region influence you musically for these recordings?
It's about the feeling, the actual influence of the visual influence. I mean, I literally took the photos for everything on the record, on the recording. Not that some of these photos are not from Namibia, you know. It's just the whole concept, the visual concept, the sonic concept. It all ties in. You'd have to hear it to understand what I'm talking about.
And I look forward to that.
Okay.
Does it paint a picture culturally?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Because again, Billy Cobham is from Panama. Okay. My foundation is in Latin Caribbean music, and Afro-Caribbean music. So therefore, that's there. But I've also lived in the United States for 40 years, so can't do without that. So it's based around all of my life experiences, and that's what music is actually a reflection sonically of where we've been and where we are now and where we'd like to go.
Great. Will you tour the album?
Oh, sure. Okay. That starts in April.
Okay, great. I don't even know what to say about how forward I am to looking forward to that. And I know a lot of people are. Whenever we post your picture on the Drum Talk TV Facebook page, everybody says, when are you going to get with them? When are you going to get with them? Now I have a bona fide answer for that. So we appreciate your time very much.
Thank you.
And we will stay in touch, and we'd love to do a longer sit-down interview and do a real nice overview of your full career and talk even more deeper things into drumming and things like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks for joining us here. Dan Schinder with Billy Cobham here on Drum Talk TV. Thanks for watching, and watch for more interviews with your favorite drummers on drumtalktv.com.